Okay, I'd like to call to order the regularly scheduled Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting scheduled for May 17th at 4 p.m. Would the secretary please take the roll?
Okay. Board Member Brittingham?
Here.
Board Member Hightower?
Here.
Board Member Robinson is absent. Vice Chairman DeLauro?
Here.
Chairman Bishop?
Present. Okay, we have the first item is the consent items. We have consider approval of regular meeting minutes from February 15th, 2022.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes from February 15th.
We've got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Please take the vote.
Okay, are you all putting in your votes, or?
Yes.
They're not showing up.
Do you need to do verbal?
I think so. Okay. Board Member Brittingham?
Aye.
Board Member Hightower? Aye. Vice Chairman DeLauro?
Aye.
Chairman Bishop?
Aye.
Okay. All right, and you'll see it up on the screen then.
Okay, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is, let's see, item 2 is consider items removed from consent. That one do we skip that one? Next part is going to be number 3, information items in the Parks and Recs Managers Report.
Excuse me. Okay, so since our last meeting, we purchased a capital improvement approved skid steer, tractor, and brush hog attachment for the sports complex to help spread out playground mulch at all the playgrounds and to help load in dirt into all the ball fields. We have received a quote and have ordered a playground structure called the Rolling Hills. I believe I attached it. If not, I have a document of it. It's a structure that for 5 to 12, capacity 55 to 65 kids, critical fall. It's a pretty big size structure. Play and Park was having a half off sale, so this $140,000 structure was down to 68. So I got it, and we have now officially gotten approval to put it up at Keithley Park from the Planning Commission Board and City Council. We'll start probably installing in the fall once we close down the splash pad and the baseball league, if they're using that field at Keithley Park once that's over. We have signed a 6-year lease agreement with Turf Tank for a robot that will paint field lines at soccer. It'll paint any field dimensions we have programmed. And right now for soccer alone, we're able to do all 6 to 8 soccer fields in 2.5 hours. So instead of all day. So it has already paid for itself in just management of time. We pay about $15,000 a year for it. We've received and bought and spread out all playground mulch in most of the parks. The only parks that we have not are ones that we have to get barriers for to surround it to meet standards. We have purchased and put ball field clay and turfus on all city fields. That is both the sports complex and all the in-city fields, because we're trying to get it where all the fields are at the same quality. We just hired a pool manager, and we're going to try to keep the pool open from Memorial Day weekend to Labor Day weekend. The Labor Day, it really just depends on if enough lifeguards stick around to do like weekend times, because during the week there's going to be too much stuff going on with schools, but weekends we can have open hours during those. That's our goal. Hopefully it works out. We have started spraying or weeds at the complex, and I'm working with OSU for a turf management program so we can have green fields all year round at that complex. The lady I was in touch with, she left, and now we got someone just started this Monday and reached out today. So they should have that plan to me down soon, hopefully. We have, if you notice, we put all the banners up in the downtown business district for the city of Durant. We have a couple more that we still have left to do. We've worked several days at the Ron Cross Senior Citizen to fix minor repairs and do groundwork. I started the training for the Civic Rec website. Once I get farther along the process, I'll probably make up profiles for you board members, and you can start taking a look. Right now, it shows that all the facilities are just the standard facilities that they have on every website, so it doesn't match up our stuff at all. But this website, you'll be able to reserve all ball fields, pavilions, and we'll be able to start doing swim lessons and pool parties all on the website, so we don't have to have someone and we don't have to do paper. It'll be all right there with all the fees, and you'll be able to see the bookings. And the only time you won't be able to book it is during the off season from November 30th to March 1st. And the only way you'll be able to book during those times is if you talk to Chris Lovelady, our rec coordinator, just so we can actually winterize and we don't have burst pipes or anything due to a severe storm. Rec leagues so far in both. Soccer just wrapped up. Baseball will wrap up mid-June. We're looking at around 1,400 participants in both those leagues combined. And so far we're averaging about 1,000 to 1,200 for both fall and winter leagues, or fall and spring. We've held 2 disc golf tournaments at Durant or at Lake Durant, and we've had 1 adult softball tournament. We just recently had a baseball tournament at the sports complex that had 40 plus teams, and it was a big old hit. We had the Special Olympics at the sports complex on April 6th, and we had Easter egg hunt, which we had about 75 people come to the Easter egg hunt, dog Easter egg hunt on April 9th. Trainings, we've actually started getting everyone certified in spraying, being spray technicians, and I'm working on being a core applicator, so we're good to spray there. Me and the pool manager are certified pool operators, so we're good on that license. And we're working on a unity statue at Carl Albert to go across from the pool, repaving, restriping the pool parking lot, Civic Rec website, which I've talked about, and I'm waiting on quotes for more security lights and parking lot lights at Carl Albert and Dixon Durant, and trying to fix the lights at Billy Miller 3 along with replacing the fence. Any questions?
I have a question. So what's the status on restrooms at our parks? Are they open and available to go?
They are open. We had to have Dixon Durant closed for a bit just because of the vandals that happened right before winter, and I believe they're open up now. But all the other restrooms are fine. We get random vandalism here and there. Nothing too bad so far. Fingers crossed that it stays that way. But it's all the bathrooms are, or most of the bathrooms are up to
Okay.
code.
I just had feedback, it was last week, that I had a family that went to the Dixon Durant Park. The restrooms were closed, and they loaded up and they went to the splash pad, and that restrooms were also closed at the same time, and they ended up just leaving the parks and went home and frustrated, and they called me and said, what can you do to fix this? I said, I don't know, we'll see.
I thought we had all the bathrooms open, so that,
Okay.
okay. I'll contact them.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought they were open.
They may be now, but this was just last week.
Last week was when we finally got the last part to the Dixon Durant bathrooms.
Okay.
So now they should be open, but for splash pad, I really thought that we had those open, which it might have been, we've had homeless people sleep in those bathrooms overnight, so they might have locked them out overnight kind of deal.
Sure. Yeah.
Is there, is there a proposed timeline on Lake Durant, hole number 2 with the bricks? I know we spoke about that kind of in January.
Yeah.
And I know, of course, the year kind of seems, kind of flies by.
It got busy real quick.
Is that something that is going to be handled by, at some point this year?
It really depends on when I get done with the immunity statue, because with mowing seasons back up, so now that we're fully staffed, I might be able to have a couple guys be able to take care of that, but it would be immunity statue's #1 priority, getting that thing up.
Why is that?
I'm told that is #1 priority to get that thing up, and that's what I gotta go for.
So is it just on information, is this maybe like a fourth quarter type project or late third quarter?
Yeah, probably. It'll be, if I'm able to get it done in June, I will, but it'll be towards the tail end, and I'll make sure that you guys don't have I don't know. Last time I talked to you guys, you said you won't be really hosting tournaments over the summer.
Yeah, the summer tends to be kind of a down period just
Okay.
for safety concerns and
Yeah.
people overheating,
Yeah.
hydration.
So, yeah, we should be able to start at least groundwork on that. I had my guys already come up with what we need and to purchase it. We just haven't been able to have time to go do that.
The baseball tournaments that you said just wrapped up
Mm-hmm.
at the sports complex, are the concession stands open during that?
So they were open. We only had 2 people available to work, and one of the concession stand workers was her 3rd day. So the rec coordinator, Chris, was helping her get things started over there before he can go over to the other one to open that one up. So when we were getting all those calls, it was when he was getting everything there, and since they started at 8 a.m., they were ready to buy candy at 8 a.m. apparently, and so we split them up and they worked all day. But we have had recently more applicants, so we should be able to host or fill those concession stands more.
And I guess everything's been squared away. Wasn't there an issue with the Department of Health or something?
Now, I have to fill out a 100-page form and get that to them with the exact blueprints of each concession stand. So I have that paperwork. I'm working on it. It's
Okay.
just been an issue.
I just recall you saying something about it in the past.
Yeah,
I didn't know if it had been
every-
resolved or not.
Everything that the health department inspector told us we needed to do has been done, other than the paperwork and paying for the paperwork.
On the playground equipment you got
Yeah.
that we're presenting in this proposal for Keithley, do you know if this is going to have a shade structure over it?
I did not have money in the budget for a shade structure over that playground.
Okay. Is this already purchased?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have, before the next parks meeting, are we going to have more equipment we're going to be purchasing for playground equipment?
As for this year, no, unless if they, I have permission to get playground structure or to purchase some for next fiscal year. But I haven't looked into that, where I'm trying to just match the amount of capacity with what we currently have and going from there. And when I do that, I'm incorporating fall protection, getting the port in place so it doesn't walk away with like mulch or anything like that.
Okay.
And that turf is not as long lasting as the port in place.
Okay. Would we have the ability of the Parks Board to have some input into picking the design for port equipment we're going to place out here, or if we're going to have shade structures, and if we need more dollars for it, can we have the input to be able to say, let's look for the community support?
When we do that, once I plan that special meeting where we go over the parks maintenance plan, we can discuss that info. I just since our last meeting, I had roughly a month to wrap up all my projects, and then I went on paternity leave, and I came back, and then I've been playing catch up since.
Because this will last maybe 10 years, and if we would have had the ability to put in something that's maybe very desirable from the community at this opportunity with these funds, it might have been an opportunity for us to have
This
expanded
playground
that.
is quoted to last 15 years, even without shade protection.
Sure, so
In theory, once we get once we have all the playground play structures redone, we should be able to do one playground per year and still keep everyone up to code. And
Okay.
because roughly about every 15 years, codes have completely changed, and we got to reevaluate.
Well, for this purchase, for example, I didn't know we were going to purchase it, or I would have liked to have had an opportunity to say, let's look for some, maybe this might have been the one we would have picked, but have the opportunity to say, I like this design or not like this design, and maybe see if there's some more functionality in another piece of equipment that might have had some different appeal than what this one had. This might have been the one we went with, but we just didn't have the opportunity to have the input.
So the reason why I went with this is because we're not going to be able to get another structure this size for the amount of money that we were paying. And with the capital improvement funds that I currently have for playground equipment, it barely met the mark.
Okay.
And for that amount of funds, you're looking at a structure that is usually 20 to 30 capacity.
Okay.
So this was our best bang for our buck, to get the structure that we can fit the most people and replace a structure, because Keithley Park has the most rust as I've seen,
right.
and there's
I use
cracks
it,
in
yeah.
the slide. So this was our best bet to replace that
Okay.
and keep it within our price range.
Do you know what an idea of cost would be for it to shade this particular structure to make it more desirable and usable?
Off the top of my head, no.
Okay.
It's typically these shades start out at $9,000, but that's a very
Small one.
rectangle,
Yeah.
small one, and they can go up to $30,000, $40,000.
Okay.
And I was just going with, we need to get something to replace that.
Since we last met, we discussed a bit of that master parks plan. I know there was a few discussion points that the board brought up, and some additions and some pieces that were going to be added to that. Have those additions been made to that master parks plan?
I would have to look back and see what additions you guys wanted to make, and then look at what I've done.
Right.
Because I can't remember off the top of my head if I made those additions or not, or anything.
I think it was just specific to the country club.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
So I haven't made any adjustments to the country club, just because that one I do want to get as much input as possible. Since it is a blank slate, I'm not going to say, okay, here's what we need, when I want to get as much input as possible. So that's when we have to do our special meeting, and we really talk about it from there.
Has there been any dates or any type of structure as to how many meetings or when?
I haven't set any dates for that just yet. I know I can, but it's ultimately, I think, up to them to set the dates. Am I wrong, right, Cynthia? Do you know? Okay. So we can come up with some dates, and best bet will be end of June, early July for those special meetings, because that's when, in theory, things will slow down.
I think the only request on that I would have is that we make the time accessible for the community to attend. And I know, of course, that makes it tricky, because I'm sure that'd be probably logging extra hours on your side. So that'd be my only concern, is just to make sure that it was at a time that, we can get people that want to be active in this,
Yeah.
can attend.
Yeah.
No other questions, no other points? Thank you very much for that report. At this time, are there any, I don't know of any other administration items we have. Okay, number 5, do we have any new business?
I have an information item just to bring Ryan and the rest of the board up to speed. The improvements at Carl Albert Park, specific to the disc golf course, the the Durant Disc Golf Club is going to proceed with those improvements for safety-related reasons. Those plans have been in place, and there's a committee that's been formed that they will be performing those improvements. There's been an email officially sent to waive the rights for safety concerns, liability. So that's been submitted to Ryan. And so I guess all we're waiting back from Ryan on that is just a confirmation that that's been received. So I think we discussed that earlier to the meeting. But the idea on that is to be able to complete those in Q3. And so all of the funding for that will be done by the club as well as the labor. The only thing that really where we would need the input from the Parks Department is on the installation of signs. I know that that's been kind of a challenge with vandalism and several other pieces. So the club has budget dollars to pay for some new signage to go out at the course so people who are coming to the park know what they're doing or where they're going. So that might be a discussion point potentially for our next meeting, but to maybe coordinate that where if, you know, the signage that's going to be purchased is like a stop sign, real thick aluminum, that's, you know, like a 5-year rated sign. We're not anticipating for a full 5 years out of it. I think it's probably closer to a 2-year. But naturally, we want to try and work to make sure that, you know, the vandalism part, we can try and mitigate some of those issues that maybe the first go around with the park that was seen. And so I think to my knowledge, most of the signage at the park has been either removed or somehow vandalized. So I'm sure that'll be a discussion point for next meeting.
Thank you, Vice Chair DeLauro. Any other new business? I see no other new business. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Please take roll.
Board Member Brittingham,
Aye.
Board Member Hightower. Aye. Vice Chairman DeLauro,
Aye.
Chairman Bishop.
Aye. Motion passes. We are adjourned.